Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Focus Call. I'm here in beautiful, Real Del Mar, Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, with the family, and I have a special guest, my father, William James Cunningham, on with us. Many of you may know him through White Dove Healing Arts, his work and previous history with the developer, Professor William Nelson, Desiree Dubonnet, our inventor of the wonderful biofeedback technology we all share. And today we're going to pick Dad's brain a little bit, but also share with you some ideas we have about the future of our industry, and an idea that I posed last week, got some great feedback, and we've expanded on this week down here regarding getting people together again around our common cause with a special focus. So welcome, Dad. Thanks for joining us here. I know on our holiday.
Thank you, Jake. We're having a wonderful time, folks. We got 18 or 19 family members here, and we've got 2 homes. We're in an area called Punta de Mita, which is north of Puerto Vallarta, and even a little further north of Nueva Vallarta. So we're having a great time. We got great service here. And as you can see, move over, Jake. Just to make you want to be here. And that's what Jake and I wanted to talk about. As some of you know, since 2006, the Quantum Alliance started putting on these quantum congresses down here in various parts of beautiful Mexico. And it's been a while, since 2013, since we've had one. We're all kind of missing that, I assume. Sí, verdad? That's what I would say in Spanish. Jake and I were thinking of doing something next year. Maybe not a huge one, but even if we got 30 to 40 people and did some research on a resort, made it very affordable to do it, and have a few lecturers, not a whole week's worth. My idea was maybe to have 2 or 3 days of study and probably about another 3 or 4 nothing to do, and do it something at, of course, all inclusive, where people can come and go, eat and sleep and rest, whatever they want to do. As I recall, our congresses many years ago, we had like a half a day to play. Well, that disappeared quickly. Loading machines and doing all that stuff, and they completely missed the fun. So we were thinking of doing a 6 or 7 night all-inclusive, maybe 3 days of study, and maybe just do the study in the morning, or maybe have a 7-day where we just did study in the morning from 9 to noon. Then the rest of the day was free too. So need your ideas, want your input on this, and this would probably be at some choice times next late spring. So we have good rates for everybody, and pick a place where we can get most of you down here on a direct flight, or at least no more than 1 hop in. So that's the idea. And Jake's going to talk to you a little bit now, and then I'm going to talk later about the original ideas Professor William Nelson had about combining the energetic biofeedback programs of the device along with some of his FDA registered homeopathics. So Jake, you take it from here and you tell me when to chime in on the remedy ideas.
Great. No, thanks, Dad. And that is really a nice what we want to bring in our focus today. I want to also mention just a quick tech support. If there's a delay in your feed here, this is live streaming, and it will depend on your internet speed, your download speed. So if you need to reconnect, just hit the reconnect button at the bottom of your screen, and that should rectify the issue. If you're having too much lag time, just watch the replay. You're going to get an automatic replay sent out to you. So with that covered, I want to also encourage your questions. Give us your feedback right in the chat on the right-hand side of your screen, or it may be over here, actually. Say hello. Tell us where you're from. If you know my father or myself, say hello, hi. We encourage interaction during the focus call, and we want you to feel like you're part of this discussion and not just spoken to. Also, one last little housekeeping tip. I wanted to mention October is the month when we dig back into really key, relevant teachings on the software and let's call it protocol, these types of issues where we pull up the screen, we do screen share, and I'm also looking into, with the NTCB, BANIS, the other certification boards, teaching CEU accredited, so you can add to your list of CEUs you need. Hi, Monique from Mexico. All right. Monique found us. And Monique, is she down in this part?
I think she's...
Or she's on the Cancun side, I believe. Or
I think Mexico City.
Mexico City. Well, welcome, Monique. Thank you for saying hello. And without further ado, we want to start to dig into some of the core original concepts, going back really to the basics of how the technology and the energetic medicine, the biofeedback, quantum biofeedback, plays a role with some of the traditional concepts, and in particularly the complex homeopathy. So tell us a brief history, Dad, without getting into the long history of energetic medicine and the history of the homeopathy, but can you give us a little summary to catch people up regarding why those are important? And you can hold that little mic there, Dad, as you wish there.
Well, the 3 years I spent with Professor Bill Nelson in Denver between 1990, 91, and 92, he kept rehearsing the simple formula of a well-trained practitioner, a good remedy repertoire, and an FDA-registered medical device. So those three things, students, is the original game plan. And that's why all these years I know nothing more than to, again, have been trained by the master himself. And secondly, to follow all the 6 to 7 generations of the devices all the way through from the FDA registration in October of 1989. So here we are at the Adductor, the Skio, the Indigos. You know, that's 6, 7 down the line from the beginning one called the Eclosion, or most people knew it as the butterfly system. So early on, when we were working in Denver, where the machines were made, the devices were made right there in Professor Nelson's office. And close to it was the FDA-registered homeopathic manufacturing laboratory called New Vistas. You will see those in your software when you see a remedy show up, and then you see the capital letters NV after it. Those are the older New Vistas formulas. There were 300 of them at that time. In 1992, Professor Nelson did kind of a revamping, a new and improved version, cut the line down to about 200, now known as Doctor Recommends, which we at White Dove Healing Arts in Boulder, Colorado area, we've been distributors of those since 1990. Probably got 1,000 different practitioners using them. And funny enough, there's about 35,000 practitioners in the world. We just have scratched the surface. And that's what we want also. A well-trained practitioner, a FDA-registered medical device, and a good remedy repertoire all goes into enhancing the wellness of the patient so nicely, so successfully, so safely, and last but not least, profitably, preserving the profit motive. Again, what is profit? Profit to serve. If you're not profiting and you've got a business, not much service you can do to people for sure. So this fall, we will be launching at White Dove Healing Arts kind of a redo of our homeotherapeutic course by NTCB. Is actually registered for certification. It's called the Homeotherapeutic Consultant Course, 60 CEUs and 16 lessons. There's quizzes at the end of every one and a little test at the end. And it's an open book test on at home or on their travels, you know, the way things are these days. So to do. At the end of each week of the 16 sessions, we will have something like this going on, and we can either do it through Jake's Friday Focus, or we can just have a Q&A with the mentor of the course, namely me, William James Cunningham. So that's what we want to do.
And they use GoToWebinar, and it's a
GoToMeeting.
GoToMeeting, really quality, and that's of course through White Dove Healing Arts, and you can contact White Dove Healing Arts, everybody, by calling them, 303-828-4439. It's one of the only phone numbers I still have memorized, believe it or not. I don't even know my cell phone, but I know their work line. Or whitedovehealing.com. or you can contact White Dove info at whitedovehealing.com, and
So,
Patty will get that.
So one of the first things I want to do when I get back in the saddle next week is we'll send out a little email to everybody. And if you'd like the first hour of the course for free, we would like to give that to you. And the first hour is definitely Professor Nelson's first hour of the original course, which was only a 30-hour course. This is a 60. Over the years, what I've done is I've blended my clinical experience in with his theories. So this new homeotherapeutic consultant course would give you not only the certification through NTCB, but give you the philosophy and the theory behind modern complex, what I call Nelsonian homeopathy, and then adding in my 24 years of experience clinically as to how to use them. Here's a case, here's a tough case, what did I do, etc. So the actual use of the theory that I learned from Professor Williamson, now known as Desiree Billy Dubonnet. So we're going to have some fun this fall. It's time to start studying again and get in the groove. And also, the main thing for safety, you want to use FDA-registered homeopathics. These are a professional use only. These are not over-the-counter homeopathy. For symptom care, this stuff gets at three major areas in healing: the detoxing, the rebuilding, and the nutrition. And the line of remedies amongst 200, you will find those categories basically sorted out. The detoxers, and even in homeopathy now, believe it or not, there are nutritional. So that gives you a little idea of what we want to plan for fall. And we'll be coordinating that, Jake, here on Friday fall, and Kaylee at White Dove Healing Arts. So anyway, that's a little history of what we've done. Professor really planned this thing to work ideally. You know, so many people use the machine miraculously successfully. We know that. We know that classical homeopathy is successful also. But in the modern day, we feel that the device would set the new blueprint for the healing work, for the stress reduction work, whatever you want to call it. And then what the remedies do, students, they really carry through that session. Let's say you do a session on October 1st and you get the ball rolling, you get the snowball going down the hill energetically, giving these new energetic blueprints, or again, re-educating the body electric for you eductor users. That's what I like to think of. That's why we named it that. You begin the energetic re-electric via your reductor, indigo, skio, and then you keep the ball rolling with these homeopathics throughout the 2 weeks or the month, however long you feel necessary to give a repertoire. And this homeotherapeutic course will teach you exactly how to do this very simply and very safely, very legally, and of course, very profitably. So Jake, I'm just going to turn this back to you, and I'm heading for the beach. Bye.
And he's out, folks. That was a special treat. Did his vacation and got him to join us here. I'm going to scoot over here so that the lighting's a little better. And what I'm going to do here is share with everybody just a couple more tips, and then we're gonna have a short focus call. We're going to stay within 30 minutes because we are in the process of getting back settled this week. Again, we're down in Mexico with our family vacation, and we have a crew down here. And the stress reduction is critical for everybody, especially if you're in the stress reduction field. There is Bill Cunningham walking. He needs some sun and relaxation and R&R like us all. You can learn more about it by going to whitedovehealing.com. That's something that is exclusive through White Dove Healing Arts. White Dove Global Marketing, my company, actually is not connected to the HTC course. That's another course educational product that I support and recommend. What's amazing to me is to hear how many of the practitioner base never knew or never heard of the remedies before. And I usually will find that out by a simple question. Many of you may also ask this question at one time or another, and that is, where do I find all these products in the test matrix? Like, where do I locate them? And one of those answers is all the doctor recommends NuVistas. You can locate them hopefully from your own shelf, but if not, through White Dove Healing Arts. Complete the HTC course, get a wholesale account, and like my father mentioned, profits directly tied to service and vice versa. The more people you help, the better you do help and serve, the more profit. And profit's not something evil, it's something important. We need a profit and put extra into our own accounts financially, energetically, socially, so that we have energy to give. And it's even most important in the art of healing, because if you run yourself ragged and the energetic exchange of your energy each session, your career is going to hit a wall and you may not recover. So remember, you deserve it in these amazing products. Some of the other products you can find by directly contacting those companies. There is the history that my dad started to go into, that he'll explore more on to introduce in this next coming month. Stay tuned and get on their newsletter. The history of the remedies, where they came from, how they were developed in conjunction with the hardware and the software. But some of the other great products in there, the essential oils, the light, crystal light therapy or remedies, all these different, you can contact, reach out, and I'll help you get in touch with the manufacturers. What's been nice with the software hardware is that these are products that aren't financially tied to the system itself. So what you find in that test matrix, and this is something you may or may not know of, even the doctor recommends, even the NuVistas, Dr. Nelson, Desiree, they're not getting financial benefit from those. It's an actual independent third-party companies that have been qualified, tested to be put in with the quantum quality control. And what's nice about that is that there's not the conflict of interest. There's other great technologies out there, or not so great technologies, that are connected to a certain product line, and that's it. Even the doctor recommends line, they're connected because those were the original test matrix items, but there's not a financial benefit for the company, which then creates just marketing to promote those certain things. So also another question I get a lot is, Jake, what if I don't carry one of these? Let's say vitamin C, a simple vitamin D, or one of the vitamin mineral amino acids comes up for a high reactivity or in the nutritional deficiency area. So if you don't have it, there's a way to test to see that individual's reaction to that in the homeopathic activation panel. And that's something that my father can show you. We can show you next week. I'm going to have my other computer, my PC, which will be able to pull up the program, and I can show you some of these basic elements. I'm not an instructor, but I'm familiar with the program. And like last week, I got great feedback. You guys want tangible data information on these calls, and I know that. This is kind of a fluff little, we're in the Mexico, but I'm telling you, we're going to be bringing the heat. You're going to get some great content, and it's all to support part of this community. And you don't need to be nickel and dimes for all the wisdom that's out there. Okay. Good morning, Jane. Thanks, Bill. Monique, I'll send that thanks. My dad got up and just jetted. I don't blame him. Hi, Gene. Nice to have you on. Mark. Hey, Mark. How you doing? Dr. Mark from Minnesota. Ulrika. Hi, from Sweden. Monique's in Puerto Vallarta. Well, Monique, hey, you can instant message me through Facebook or after this, and we'll be here through Sunday. So if you are bored and want to come out, I doubt you're bored in Puerto Vallarta. I've seen some posts from you. You look like you live life to the fullest. But if you want to come join us, we're just mellow and chilling here by the beach. Karen, hi, nice to see you. So with that said, everybody, is there any specific questions that you're stuck with? Are you stuck trying to reactivate the program? That's been a common theme lately. It's been people will upgrade and then software, and then all of a sudden they're in demo mode. That fix is very easy. So just to repeat, if you are getting locked out of your software or are in demo mode and you paid your licensing fee, what you do is go into your password panel, go into activation, enter in your QX Subspace username, which is your email and password, and it will automatically resync and activate you. If you forgot your password, no problem. Go to qxsubspace.com and simply say forgot password. Like any other website, it will then send you an email where you can regenerate a password. I highly recommend everybody know that password and have it on file. You don't need to memorize it, but write it down on your QX Subspace manila folder and put it in your office desk, or create a little post-it or a notepad on your computer, because you'll need that moving forward to access more of the software downloads of that nature. In your back account on QX Subspace, you can access the user manual. There's a couple brochures, templates, and the software, the anti-aging or the anti-smoking prayer program, and of course the main software for the Skio, which is now the Eductor 64. That's the name of the software, but there's a Skio and Eductor service pack and the Indigo software. All there, one account. They've done an amazing job. Gary, Leventa, Andrea, working with Professor Nelson to create a really user-friendly interface there. But with that said, for anybody in the market for new Eductor or an upgrade to the Eductor from a Skio or Indigo system, I want to let you know there's a promotion launching today through October where you receive a free actual 17-inch dialed, installed, activated. And by the way, software activations are not usually included with updates, but I'm going to share with you the promotion because that's what I'm here for, is to help you maximize your tools. Yes, I can explain to do groups, events, situations, like sell a house. Karen, yeah, I can give you some tips on that here. And I can also point you to some videos that give you really good information about that. Give me 1 second here. You're up on a book, so I'm shaking, I know. So real quick, now through October 31st, you will receive a new 17-inch laptop, a Dell laptop. Dell or Asus, depending on the models, are always changing. But there's a Dell Inspiron 2-in-1, so you can use a touch screen, flip top. You can use it as almost a tablet. 17.3-inch full HD touchscreen with the latest i7 core processor, fully configured, activated, plus basic training to refresh. And you can go right here to White Dove Global /shop sales promotion and learn more. And new or trade in from a serial to Eductor, USB Skio, or Indigo. So contact me, submit this form, and I will get back to you next week and we'll talk the different specific pricings for which model you have. And that's something I want to offer to everybody who's listening, or if you know somebody who's interested, or if you're in the marketplace, this is good through the end of October. So with that said, I'm going to go back to your question in regards to situations and groups. Okay, great. Susan, I would love to see the prayer program demo. That is on the list, and I agree. That's a program that's so profound. It's very simple, but it's something that we need to have a real quick, thorough tutorial on. A focus call would be perfect for it, and that's a really, really good tip. Thank you, Susan. Karen, can you explain how to do groups or events or situations like sell a house? Well, because what you're doing is working on, instead of an individual, you're working on a situation or a entity, like a group or a home. There's many different schools of thought for this. I'm gonna share with you the way I do it, but I'm a more home user, use it for my family, friends. The way Louise Swartzwalter, a partner of mine, many of you are familiar with, does it, is she uses many of her different tools to run almost entity within the entity, like room or person in the group individually, and then as a total. Use it as literally what I'll do is put them in the demographic. So write new client, I'll put in the group name or the entity name, or if it's a home, the address. Say you're clearing a space, a property that won't sell, or let's see, what else? A group or a team, something of this nature. Well, you'll put them in, and I'll always select both in terms of male, female, or both. And that's a perfect example to do so, because each energy and space or group, even if it's all males, there's also female energy in that group. And you want to sometimes, if it is an all male group, you may need to rectify and help create the balance among that full of testosterone group. Or if it's a house or a property, there is very masculine and feminine energy in every room, in every house, in every office space. What I will then do is literally I'll run it like a person. I won't switch it up that much. I'll still go through the main programs, a risk profile. I'll go through homotoxicology. I'll go through, and then the recommended therapy. I will then also differently go and do individual affirmations through the NLP, and that's pretty much and then I'll do an overall rectification. Very simple, basic, but let's show you that along with the prayer program. Hope I answered and helped a little bit. Deanna, hi, how are you? Quick question about, and Monique, quick question about the prayer wheel. When I restart the computer, do I have to load all the clients and load and assign the prayers again? Have to? I believe there's a way to save it, but I believe and I wish my dad was still here. Where is he? He's out there. See him? Do you see him? I see him. He's right there. I'm going to go interrupt him and ask him. I'm going to find out. I'm here. I'm going to find out for you. But I know that with the prayer wheel, what I would do is create a separate notepad or Word document with like a cheat sheet, like you've done with some of the other frequencies that you can plug in and run the numbers, names. I would definitely keep those on a notepad or a page so you can put those in and you back them up as that list grows. Now let me go ask Dad that. I see the clients, but after Windows 10 update the prayers were not assigned. Okay. That's a really good question, and it's something that we'll address with the prayer wheel. Something that Gary, I'm trying to get Gary on too from QX Subspace, because he understands on a deeper level these quirks within the program because he programs it, and Laventa. And that's what we need on this call, which I'm going to keep asking and inviting them to come on. Are the frequencies in the NLP pulled in from the client's matrix, or are they pre-programmed? Well, there's some that are pre-programmed, some that I really bake with them. I will actually, or the group, or I'll set it myself. It's a home. This home is clear of negative energy and is powerful, warm, and inviting, and welcomes a quick and confident and secure transition to the next family. So, like, I will plug that in, And I'm on my Mac. I don't have the software on this computer, so excuse me. But I'm going to go take a step outside. If you guys need to take a quick breather, I'm going to, you probably don't, you're at your computer, but take a nice sip of your tea, your green drink, your protein shake, and I'm going to go and step outside and ask my dad that question about, do you need to, Monique's question about the prayer wheel. Do I have to load all the clients and load and assign the prayers again after I restart the computer? So I'll be right back. Love you guys. Thanks for being here. Hi, you guys. I did correct the beach chair. Monique asked, quick question about the prayer wheel, and that should be a topic, Dad.
Yeah.
We should do a focus on. But here he asks, do I have to load all of the clients load and assign the prayers again after we convert?
No. Let me give you a story on Dr. Guy, who has written probably 6 or 7 books on the power of prayer and healing. Larry Dossey, Dossey, MD, great guy, was in the Vietnam War as a physician or a tactical field guy. Anyway, and started a whole kind of revolution amongst certain MDs about, praying for your patients. Well, obviously, their other input was the Tibetan prayer wheels, which Dr. Nelson knows about and which we all know about. So 2 different prayer wheels. There's the prayer program, which is a separate program where you enter names, places, events, etc. And that runs on either behind the scenes on your computer or on a special computer. Now, I don't know what the cost of that is these days, but there are proprietary prayers in that from various religious disciplines around the world. Once you turn it on, it's praying for everybody, including the owner of the software and their family or whoever you type in. Okay, so that's a separate thing. Now, in your computers, what happens is when you enter your name or your business name as the owner of the software, a 30-page prayer wheel, the minute you turn on the computer starts praying. For instance, now, for example, White Dove Healing Arts, Ltd. Well, that includes me, Patricia, Kaylee, and Patty. And of course, my cat, Callie. And when you type in the person's name that you're working on, then the prayer wheel includes the patient. So there's a very important way of doing this. So when you first open up the computer, it immediately starts praying for you, the practitioner, and your people in your business. If it's just you, but the way to do this properly is to immediately get in there. You enter the client's or patient's name. The prayer wheel includes them. So as a database either pulled up from a previous patient or a new patient, then you're getting that person included too. So Professor Nelson's idea there was, well, if a Tibetan prayer wheel works and Dr. Dossey's work is valid, which has been proven, and many other experiments around the world on the power of prayer regarding healing, then why not have a computer pray. Now, if we look back at languages, Paleo-Hebrew, Sanskrit, etc., these vowels, consonants, letters are actually representative of frequency. So really, that's what a prayer is. It's a frequency, it's a healing frequency. I criticize Professor Nelson, oh, you can't have a computer pray. That's sacrilegious, that doesn't work. No, no, no. It's all about energetic frequency medicine anyway. So now, if you really want to get into this, the 1,500-page document called Promorpheus that Professor Nelson wrote to prove the mathematical proving of the device, the last 700 pages of this 1,500-pager is all about prayer, the power of prayer, and all the documentation and research been done on it. So again now, 2 different programs. The prayer wheel, once that is turned on separately and is paid for and activated, anybody you put in there, any event you put in there, any geographical place you put in there, like your home, everybody at the same time. When you activate your computer for a session, it initially starts praying for the practitioner or the business and people in it, and then the person you put in and nobody else. So you don't have to do anything really. Only thing, if you want to add people to the separate prayer program, you add as much data as you can, because again, that data, that unique name, that numerological calculation on the name, the birth date, the birth time, etc., that all makes that a unique energetic fingerprint for that entity to be prayed for. So I hope that answers your questions.
So Dad, thank you so much. So with that said, does the data that Monique would enter in individually on top of the automatic prayers that are activated saved or after she restarts the computer, or does that need to be re-entered after she would say come back the next day?
Okay, so now we're talking about doing a session with a person, right?
Or no, she's talking about the prayer program individually. So
We have the separate prayer program?
The separate prayer program.
Oh,
like,
no.
Does that data stay in there?
Oh, yes,
Okay.
absolutely. I mean, as much as you put in, Monique, people have a nickname. You want to put their full name at birth plus their married name. If they're not carrying the married name anymore, then ditch it, don't put that in. And again, because there's medical astrology and medical numerology done on anything you put in. So again, when you're adding new patient, name at birth, married name, let's say you have a spiritual name, Muktananda or whatever, Ananda, whatever, then put that in too, because that person has assigned themselves a different frequency level. So yes, no need to do any tampering. Now you can choose which prayers you want if you go into the About box on your screen there when you first open up. You can choose just Buddhist prayers, whatever. But again, feels that's hit the judgmental button. So everything's activated. Christians that say, we just want Christian prayers. If you really look into that issue, all these ideas, 13 and 30 in India and Tibet, etc. So minded, but that's okay.
We can spend another 5 years on that.
Yes, we could go into that for the next.
Trust me, our breakfast and dinner tables discussions are interesting. Yeah, and hopefully, Monique, that helped. And then to just while you're here, Dad, there's a couple other questions, and then we'll wrap things up. Are the frequencies in the NLP pulled in from the client's matrix, the client's test matrix, or are they pre-programmed? And I know there's a couple different affirmation panels, things in the NLP. So I don't know if that is
you know, that's probably a programming pen or a programming proprietary intellectual property piece, but I'm sure Professor Nelson would answer that for you. So please get on the get on the Facebook thing, ask and receive, and he will answer that, because that might be a proprietary. Now, Desi will tell you something about it, but probably not tell you how he did it. And usually what he will do, what she will do, is you'll take something like therapy and you'll improve upon it. So the old Rife devices were one-way streets. Set the frequency, set the time, and push the button. Because of our cybernetic loop, our feedback loop, you're improving auto frequency therapy or Rife therapy. The patient adjusts the frequencies too long, too fast via the cybernetic loop. So if there's any improvement to a classic NLP thing, Desi probably would give you a hint on that and exactly the answer to your question.
Great. Thanks, Dad.
Any other questions?
Oh, there was one about groups and how to run differently if you were to run a property, a team, a group, trying to sell. Do you have any advice? I gave him my 2 cents of when I run, say, the home or our family unit. I really don't separate it much other than a few other elements, so sexes, things like that. But
okay, so always go back to the idea that the intention of the practitioner is a very powerful aspect of our work. Now, the house or the home, whatever, can't really intend to be in the session. Your client can, of course. So let's say if it's a piece of property, what you want to put in, the most important part of this other entity or non-sentient items would be the birth date. So let's say the day you bought the property would be the birth date. The day the Olympic team was formed would be the date, the team idea, etc. Or just even a prayer group at your church, whatever. So that's the key. You know, the place is pretty obvious. That's not a big deal. So, but the idea, if you do not have all the precise information to put in there, it's really the intention. Now, to enhance the intention, you might tell the team or the group, whatever, that you're going to ask them to keep the time with you when you initiate this thing. So their intention is in on the deal too. So that's really the most important part. If you don't know all the data, and the good book, you know, God knows your heart. So that's the way to go without the details of everything. Okay.
Great. Thanks, Deb. Well, excellent, everybody. I want to thank you all. We're going to wrap things up with us. We really appreciate you showing up with the unknown of the focus call over the last couple weeks, but we are getting ready to get down to some wonderful back-to-school learning, and we're here for you. So don't hesitate to ask. You can contact my father through the White Dove Healing Arts Clinic. You can give him a call at 303-828-4439, or you can call myself at 242-4290. That's 248-242-4290, or info@.com. So without any further ado, we're going to say goodbye. Any last thoughts, Dad? Thanks for joining us and filling in.
Be good now and get ready for cold and flu season. That's important. Easily and enjoyably, legally and profitably learning how to use Professor Nelson's amazing, complex, modern homeopathic repertoire. I'll help you all the way. I love helping you. We love you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.